Hello, Laziali all over the world. Welcome to another episode of Lazio Lounge. Plenty of things to talk about because Saturday Lazio have beaten Salernitana away, and tomorrow, Tuesday, 5:30, terrible timing. There is a Coppa Italia. Lazio's playing against Udinese. We're going to talk about transfer market. Obviously, we're going to talk about Salernitana, Milinkovic Savic performance, Ciro Immobile performance. We're going to look to the Coppa Italia match. What's the plan for Lazio? And you know it already, unfortunately, who's joining me. Hello, Alistair McKenzie. How are you?
Hello. You sound delighted as always to
As
have my.
always, yep. Uh, Good morning, Hardos. I think it's pronounced Hardos. Don't know where you are, but if it's morning for you, then good morning. And good morning for everybody joining us. Alistair, shall we start from Salernitana Lazio and then move forward to transfer market and Coppa Italia?
Sure, yeah. I see you've put this up as Salernitana Lazio 3-0 a clean sheet because that is a remarkable thing in itself. I mean, I think it was almost it was almost a training game. We almost have to put an asterisk beside this match because not only was it against Salernitana, but it was against the Salernitana team that's missing quite a lot of players as well. But still, we have to say there is a lot of positives. I mean, in an attacking sense, Lazio were brilliant to put this game basically to bed after 10 minutes. And yeah, like you said, a clean sheet. I think we were saying a few days ago, we can barely remember what that was. So that in itself is something to celebrate, even if it was against an underpowered Salernitana team.
Yeah, I think it was 1 year ago last time that Lazio had a clean sheet away from
Really?
the Stadio Olimpico. Yeah, that was what they were saying. One thing, I agree that Salernitana is not Real Madrid, but let's not forget that Roma beat Cagliari with 11 players missing, and it still looked like Roma have beaten Paris Saint-Germain with Neymar and Mbappe all playing together. So yeah, obviously is Cagliari, is Salernitana. It's not a huge team, but at the same time, we have to mention that the rivalry is huge. Salernitana fans simply hate Lazio and Claudio Lotito. So you could see that this could have been a dangerous game, but honestly, we put it in bed after 10 minutes, and that was really encouraging because usually Lazio is not very good in closing matches.
Yeah, and that was the key to it, was the fast start, I think, because you are always at risk of dragging a match into the unknown if you're not able to take control of it from the start. Something obviously Lazio haven't been particularly brilliant at, and not only did Lazio score the 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, but I mean they were very nice goals, very nice goals. Especially Milinkovic Savic's kind of mid-air back heel volley assist, which is rightly getting quite a lot of attention because it doesn't matter who you're playing against. If you're able to pull off something like that and put it on a plate for the striker who you're trying to send it to, you just have to applaud that kind of quality. I mean, he was enjoying himself, I think, yesterday or on Saturday, Milinkovic Savic. And it was good to see, the big players stepping up when you need them to, and getting 3 points that are going to be important.
Definitely. I thought he tried the same thing even in the second half, only that Ciro Immobile didn't believe it and didn't go forward in the box. It could have been nice to do a hat trick with those two assists, right?
Well, it's quite funny. They had him at the halftime interview, and he said kind of, just as well Ciro actually scored it because it was a nice setup, and it makes you realize how small the margins are, I guess, between people celebrating this incredible piece of skill because it's an assist, or it just kind of being forgotten about because Ciro failed to finish it. Because if it doesn't become an assist, it doesn't get the same amount of attention, regardless of it being the same piece of skill. But yeah, Ciro, 2 more goals for Ciro. 140 in Serie A now since joining Lazio. I mean, that is an extraordinary tally. I've got another stat. I'll bring it out very soon, quick off the mark. Since he arrived at Lazio before the 16-17 season, he's scored exactly the same amount of goals as Cristiano Ronaldo now.
I saw that stat.
And there's only two players who've scored more than him. Now, you didn't manage this last time, Vittorio, but do you know the answer this time?
I think I do. Zaniolo and Abraham, right? Why are you laughing? I got it wrong? Okay. No. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I know.
I don't even want to correct you now. You get a response. No, Lewandowski and Messi, the only players who've scored more goals than Ciro since he joined Lazio.
Don't know those two players.
No, because they don't play for Roma.
No. Obviously. Well, as are those writing, Ciro was on fire against Salernitana. And what can we say? Ciro is playing great football. And one thing I want to mention, Alistair, is deep ball from Luis Alberto, backheel assist from Milinkovic Savic, and goal from Ciro Immobile. I think it's not a coincidence. When our quality players step up, Lazio can close matches very easily. And I think the quality of this team can have a huge impact, because we tend to talk about tactics too often, right? 4-3-3, 3-5-2, etc., which is important. But at the end of the day, are the quality of the players that make the difference. And we saw it against Salernitana. Luis Alberto starting because Basic should be, we have no official announcement, should be positive to COVID, but Lazio doesn't like to make announcement about that. So Luis Alberto started. And I thought Lazio midfield simply was too good for Salernitana. And this is what we're seeing. I think we mentioned it already, but Philip Pezzano is asking us on Twitter, is Milinkovic Savic getting even better under Sarri? I don't know if he's better now, but definitely in the last month, you could see that he understood what Sarri asked to him, and he's doing it much better than before. And these are the results, right?
Well, he's certainly been really productive recently. I mean, that was his 8th assist of the season, which is higher than any other player in the league now. So Lazio actually now, as of Saturday, have the top scorer in the league in Ciro with 17 goals and the top assist provider in the league with Milinkovic Savic on 8. Imagine if we had a defence. We've said it before, but like you say, the quality players we've got, we've always known that quality is there, but when they're able to produce in the way that they have been recently, it makes all the difference. I think Milinkovic Savic is currently heading for his most productive season at Lazio. I think the most assists he's ever managed in a season was 10, and he's got 8 already, and we're only in January. So it's hard to imagine that he's not going to manage another, 3 before the end of the season. Ciro just keeps doing what he's doing, but Milinkovic Savic as well, he's scoring a lot of goals. He's the second top scorer in the team. So we've always known the quality he's got. I'm not entirely sure whether it's Sarri ball or working under Sarri that's done this, because I think we've seen that he's capable of these performances ever since he's been at the club, really. It's just that he seems to be in a great run of form at the moment.
So now for Milinkovic Savic, it's going to be really hard to do better than he did in the past after you said that. So, I mean, I'm going to point everything on Luis Alberto. But the other thing is, we know Sarri ball is very offensive-minded type of football. And we said it, right? We thought that Ciro Immobile would have been top scorer under Sarri. And we said that players like Milinkovic Savic and Luis Alberto should take advantage of this new mindset of Lazio. And so from one point of view, it's not a surprise that Milinkovic Savic is getting so many assists. It's more often than not close to the penalty box. I think this is what Sarri wants, and it's good to see Milinkovic finally getting there. And I mean, the problem with Sarri is not scoring goal; it's not allowing the other team to score goals, and which is what is happening with Lazio. So We saw encouraging development, I would say, Alistair, from Lazio. And another thing going about our defense is I don't remember Strakosha making any save Saturday. I sound a little bit like Simone Inzaghi, but honestly, Salernitana didn't create nothing. I agree, Salernitana is not Real Madrid and so on. But let's not forget that Lazio allowed Bologna to score a couple of goals, Empoli to score 4 goals. It's not that we are, I don't know, the best defense in the world. We are not even close to that. So, not making our position having a chance, it's a great sign, or not?
I mean, yes, it's a good sign, but I think we do have to take it with a pinch of salt. I really do, because Salernitana have struggled a lot to score goals this season, even when they've had their key players like Simi and Ribery playing. They didn't have either of them available on Saturday. They had Cedric Gondo up front. I mean, you're not talking about a high level attack that you're coming up against. So I think my take on it is you have to say, okay, well done. It's a good sign. Let's move on. I don't think we need to analyze the way Lazio defended or think too much about the way they defended in this game, because I think immediately on Tuesday, they're going to have a much bigger test. It can't go worse than last time. 4 goals conceded from 5 shots. Surely you can't be scared and superstitious about me saying that this time. I mean, it can't be much worse than that, surely. But already, coming up against players like Deulofeu and Beto, that's light years ahead of what they face on Saturday.
Yes. Before moving to the Coppa Italia, there are a lot of question marks. What's your take on the substitution? Because I was hoping to see Raul Moro and Luca Romero coming in, and instead Luca Romero came in, and I thought he had a great match. But with him, Denis Vavro played. What a surprise! What's your take on this?
I was flabbergasted. I was completely astonished. I couldn't believe that he was being brought on. Because it's, as much as anything else, I think I retweeted Stephen, who said that it was his first game, I think, for a year, but I can't remember exactly, but anyway, a long time. But it just seems so random, the timing of it, because we're in the middle of the January transfer window when all we're really talking about is trying to find Vavro a new club, or trying to get him out in order to help this liquidity index problem. And then all of a sudden there he is. And there have been plenty of opportunities this season to give Vavro game time. And obviously this game was put to bed by then, so there was very little risk by bringing him on. But I just found it a bit bizarre. What does it mean? Is this just Lazio or Sarri trying to remind potential clubs of his existence, so that they might be like, oh, he played quite well in that 5 minutes against Salernitana. Let's offer 15 million euros for him. I don't know what the point was.
Yeah, that's my question. Is it a sign that Vavro is not for sale? Or, it's just because, again, you can say, well, he wanted to bring on someone. You had Floriani or Bertini coming from the Primavera. As you said, the match was over. You could give those youngsters a chance. So why he didn't put it Floriani, and maybe, you move Marusic, central defender, or no, Marusic was out already. Izai, that was planning Saturday, the Friday tested as central defender, and you play Floriani on the wing. I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised, because after the match, even Sarri spoke well. Can we say that word about Vavro? So, I'm a little bit surprised. It's like, come on, since you never tried, and now you're saying, well, he's improved, he's giving everything. Do I have to understand that you think Vavro is not on the market and he can be, our new signing for the winter transfer. Hey guys, this is our new central defender, Dennis Vavro.
Well, it would be mad, really, but then this is Lazio, and why you know it wouldn't have surprised me that much if all of a sudden Vavro was in the squad and he's playing games and they just continue like nothing's happened. But I think we both found it a bit strange all along because it's quite easy to throw Vavro and Murici into the same bracket and say, oh, look at these signings that Tari's made, what a waste of money and what disaster they've been. But Vavro hasn't been the same case as Murici at all because he's not been given nearly the same amount of game time. And if you consider that the main issue that we had with Vavro to begin with was that he came in from playing in a back four, was thrown into a back three, played on the right-hand side of it more often than not, where he was kind of exposed for his lack of pace and not being particularly strong on the ball. But now he is able to play in a back four again. We did ask the question in the summer, will this mean Vavro has more of a chance of getting back in the team? And he's still not in the team. So Vavro's basically not really been given much of a chance. It's not been the same as Murici, who's had, 40-something games, albeit a lot of them off the bench, not many minutes, but he's had a lot of opportunities to make something happen that he's not taken, whereas Vavro hasn't really had those opportunities.
I think we said it a couple of years ago. It's funny because the last match Vavro played for Lazio, I think was Genoa Lazio probably, when he came in because Acerbi got injured in the warm-up. And we both agreed that it was probably his best performance and he played well. And we were thinking, go and watch our podcast of that day. We was both think, wow, this could be the start of the season, of the career of Vavro at Lazio. Instead, after that, and was a good performance, Inzaghi never gave him another chance. So I don't know what was going on. But yeah, I agree with you. He didn't have a chance. And now people say, Vavro is awful, etc. I'm not sure he's awful. I think he didn't have a chance. There's something behind that. Maybe Tare said, hey, don't risk him because we want to sell the player. If he plays and get injured, then we have an issue there. But other thing, Alistair, the fact that he played could be a sign. Maybe Tare said to Sarri, look, we tried to sell him. No one wants him. The last deal went off. So, hey, Sarri, Vavro, 95% is your new central defender. So, use him.
Or the other option is there's been a complete lack of communication between Tari and Sarri about what is happening in January. And Sarri's just continuing like, oh, well, I'll make do with the options I've got without realizing that Vavro in a couple of days is going to be sent away to Spain or something. So I find that equally easy to believe, to be honest.
Alistair, this never happened to Lazio. What are you talking about? Never. There's a huge communication between the Lazio, the Lotito, the manager, and Tare. Absolutely no.
And a kind of open environment where everybody's opinions are valued. And yeah.
Absolutely. And what do you make about Lazzari? Scoring, taking off his shirt off. What's your take? The words of Sarri after the match. What's your take on Sarri? On Lazzari, sorry.
Well, I have a different take on this. I think a lot of people saw this as being a very angry celebration from Lazzari. He's proving a point to his doubters, to his coach, blah, blah, blah. I think he was just really hot. He went on the pitch with an undershirt on over his main shirt. He ran half the length of the pitch. If that was me, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm roasting here. So he was like, right, get these two layers off. And then he didn't put the undershirt back on. He just put his normal shirt back on. So he was like, I'm willing to take a yellow card here in order to shed a layer because I am hot. That's what I think was happening.
Okay. Make total sense. I think you are the only one in the world who thought that. But yeah, could be. I mean, the words Sarri spoke after the match about Lazzari are, for me, very interesting. Because he said that it's not Lazzari hasn't been benched because he's not good. It's because Lazio can afford to play Lazzari because he's a very offensive mind left back, and our defense is struggling even without him. So playing with Lazzari, it's to a risk. So the thing is, what if we improve our defense improve? Then we will be able to afford Lazzari. So is it right to sell him now, or it could be a huge mistake? And do you think Sarri wants to sell Lazzari?
No, I really don't, and I've said this all along. Is that it's basically the only position in the team where we probably feel like we've got good depth right now, where we've got Marisic and Lazzari and even Husai who are able to play on that right back position, who all offer different things. If you want a more attacking game plan, or you want to play more a counter-attacking game, Lazzari is your man, and then you can ideally put a more defensive left back in the team. But if you want to keep it tighter, then you go for someone else. And I think that that's what Lazio want to really be working towards, is having these kind of different options and strength and depth across the team. So it would seem like a waste to feel like we've actually got one position where we have that available, and then to let one of those players go because he's not happy or he's not getting game time. I don't think Lazzari's. I don't think he's a player who Sarri doesn't like or who is, undervalued. He just like what you said, he doesn't feel like he's capable of using him. I'm not convinced by that, because I really am starting to fully believe in what I was talking about a few days ago, where Lazio's best approach now is just to go for it every single game. Let's just attack non-stop, because defense isn't going to be good enough anyway. So the attack is doing so well at the moment. Let's
Not
just try
even with
and outscore teams. Let's throw Lazzari in the team from the start. Why not? What more damage is it going to do than the defense has been doing? And I don't think. Also, I should say, I don't think he's a bad defender either. I think his best weapons are in attack rather than in defense. But I don't think he's a terrible defender.
Yeah, I agree. But then this brings me to the question: we have to sell to sign players this January. So if we don't sell Vavro, if we don't sell Lazzari, who do we sell?
Vedat Murici for 35 million.
So he's still gonna be the only player we are gonna sell.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it. I mean, what are we expecting here? I don't think. I just don't see this working out like we talked about in the mercato episode last week. I don't see it working out in a way that we're getting instant cash in the bank for Lazzari and Murici to then invest in getting 3 or 4 new players in January. I think it's pie in the sky stuff. That
even because today is the 17th of January, you have 13 days, not more, to do everything. And we know how fast-paced does study work. So, we would probably be able to sign a player till the end of the winter transfer market if that start looking now. So, yeah, it's going to be a huge risk. And I agree, Murici could be the only player leaving, hopefully, because in the weekend there have been a lot of teams linked to Murici. It looked like Friday night everybody wanted Murici, and then we wake up on Monday and Murici is still with us and no one made an offer. So I don't know. They were telling me, Alistair, that Murici was flying to England on Friday night, and then Saturday I saw him on the bench at Salernitana, so at Salerno. So maybe the something went wrong with the flight. And then CSKA Moscow was very close to sign the player, but he's still training with Lazio today. So
yeah, I mean, what do you make of this supposed offer from CSK, which is said to be a loan until the end of the season, and then the buyout clause at 9 million. So obviously that would mean Lazio, losing half of the money they spent within 2 years. But at this stage, is that something you still think is a decent offer?
Well, it looks like Lazio understood that they won't get the money back, so they want something around 10 million euros. Now they have to see if someone offer that. Rumors have been that Moscow offered 8+2, 9+1 leads something else. Until I see something official, I I don't trust anybody. So I think that's going to be the goal for Lazio: sell Murici and maybe sign someone in replacement. But I think it's going to be really complicated.
Lapadula's name
Oh no,
appearing. Thoughts?
no, I'm not happy about that. I mean, if it's 6 month loan, then I can understand it. But if we sign the player, we have to buy it. Then it's going to be another issue again because he's going to maybe play a couple of matches in this 6 month, and then he's going to be out of the squad, and you will have to place even Lapadula, which would be just another player to add to the list. So I think if it's a loan, simple loan, then yeah, I can understand that. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I think that kind of thing has to be a short-term fix, especially because
Yeah.
he's just been playing in Serie B as well. So I don't think he's a terrible player, Lapadula. Just yeah, I agree. I don't think he's the long-term solution to that.
He's also 31, so
Well, exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Johnny is still with the squad. It looks like he had a couple of offers from the Spain, but still no news about it. So he's still with us. He's in the list. He had been added to the list as Escalante was removed. Yeah, but he still haven't been called, and this is the third match I think, and still haven't been called. So this is a terrible sign for us. Alistair, before we wrap it up, let's talk about a little bit about Coppa Italia. Lazio Udinese tomorrow 5:30, awful time. Um, do you think Lazio should try to win it, or just rotate the team as much as possible and see what happens?
Um, I mean, of course, you want to try and win it. Of course, you do. But I think currently there's a few players I would like to see, especially tomorrow. And let's not forget there is this weird international break coming up at the end of January. So after this game and the Atalanta game on the weekend, there's a week off. So I don't think we need to worry too much about the kind of saving legs thing right now. But I would like to see more of Romero. We saw him come off the bench, look pretty lively in the kind of 10 minutes he got. Or Raul Moro, for example, we've spoken about before. And yeah, I don't think I want a full scale rotation. I ideally would like to see a few more of the players we're more excited to look at, but then actually get a more comfortable win and not end up having a completely crazy day like the last time we played Udinese. I mean, I'm happy to have that kind of game, but win it 5-4 instead of losing or drawing 4-4 again. But Udinese, they're also, or at least yesterday against Juventus, sorry, Saturday against Juventus, also missing loads of players at the moment with COVID. But even so, I thought they looked all right against Juventus. They've still got the team they put out was still relatively strong, and I think enough to cause Lazio far more problems than Salernitana did.
Don't you think they're going to rotate massively as well?
Well, it depends who they've got. They might not be able to rotate massively if they've only got this kind of 14 players left. I'm not sure exactly how it stands as we speak in terms of if some players have come back negative now or injuries have recovered or whatever. But it's a game Lazio should be winning. So I think we probably talk about the Coppa Italia thing a bit more seriously once you're into the quarterfinals or once you see how it looks, what the route to the final is, because it's never easy, and everyone at that stage will have their own distractions. Because the temptation now is to say, look, we've got Europa League, we're not in a brilliant position in Serie A, so we need to really be prioritizing those things over the Coppa. But the Coppa is the easiest trophy to get, really, because it's the fewest games to win against kind of lower quality opposition, really, to actually get your hands on a trophy. So it would be nice. We love winning the Coppa.
Yep. Do you think Reina is going to start?
Yes, I think so.
Do you think Vavro is going to start?
No.
Do you
I
think
like
Moro is going to start?
I hope so. I think Pedro's we'll see what Pedro's injury looks like. Don't want to speculate too much on it, but it did look like he pulled his calf when he was coming off, and that's not something that he's going to recover from in a few days. So it's then a question of whether Sarri chooses Zaccagni and Anderson, or if he's willing to actually try one of these guys from the start, the younger kids. It's the first pretty hit of the season, really, I think. Maybe he could throw in Europa League group games, but at that stage he was still trying to get a sense of the team he's got and get some consistency out of those players. So I think this is a real rare chance for Sarri to feel like he probably can experiment a little bit more or rotate a little bit more.
Do you think Ciro Immobile will start?
Yeah, he always starts.
Okay. I thought it was the right occasion to maybe bench him a little bit, play Felipe Anderson central forward, and because I don't think Murici will have a chance, and Raul Moro on one side, Zaccagni on the other one.
Well, who knows? Maybe Murici will have a chance now. The Dennis Vavro thing has thrown everything out the window. It means that now we have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe Vavro centre back, Murici up front. Vavro will put in the game of his life. Murici will score a hat trick, and suddenly the offers will start pouring in. It'll be brilliant.
And then you wake up.
Yeah.
Okay, Alastair, thank you again for joining me. And I don't know, we're gonna see what's gonna happen tomorrow. I think the stadium will be completely empty. We know that unfortunately, only 5,000 people will be able to join. I don't think we're gonna reach that.
No.
Because 5:30 on Tuesday in Rome, it's unbelievable. But who knows?
And they're asking between 25 and 45 euros a ticket, I think, as well.
Yeah. I thought they should have keep the Curva Nord open. Instead, they're doing only Tevere and Montemario, which is quite surprising. I think Roma did the same yesterday, right?
Yeah, Montemario and Tribuna Tevere, yeah.
So I think maybe it's something that have been decided above them. Again, Alistair, thanks for joining me. Thanks everybody for listening and watching us. Remember, you can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, on our YouTube channel, on a Twitch channel. Please join us there. And if you want to support us, patreon.com/Lazio Lounge. Membership starts at just $2 a month. We'll be back presumably before Lazio Atalanta. Thanks, Alistair.
Cheers.